Welcome back to Stationeers and this really annoying, really loud furnace. Yes, well, what have we got done? I've not built that room yet. I am going to do that this episode. I want to get this solar panel automated. It's the second episode and I already want to automate this thing. It's just going to happen. I've got a couple of sets of cable coil going. I was trying to see if I can spray paint one of them. Yes, I can. I'm going to have the really rather... nice and not unachievable whatsoever idea of using blue cable for data and red cable for power. That's not going to last too long, but in some cases that may be possible, so we may as well see if that will will work. I got some feedback from people from the last episode already regarding that solar controller, this thing. And yes, it is a manual controller. So disappointed. That should be at least a display of the current angle in a kind of big font or something like that if they're not going to do manual control, because otherwise I could just, well, technically I could collect lots of solar panels and connect to it and still hit the button to rotate it, but no, we have to do something that will follow the sun, and we're going to do that first, I think, because even with just one of these panels it will be pretty good. What am I looking, where's my stuff over here? One of these has the stuff I'm looking for. There we go, sensor. That's what I was looking for. So if we have a sensor down here, something like that, I guess it will depend. See, this depends definitely on which side you face the sun with. That much is for certain. As to whether it needs to be that way up or that way up, less certain. But, you know, I'll give it a chance. I'll give it a chance and let's say it's that way up, okay? And we'll, yeah, maybe it'll need to hide a little bit. Yeah. So we'll get that hooked up, build in a set of iron frames or something, and then we'll come back for the electronics. And for temporarily, I'm going to lay them out along this way. I would put them at the top of the hill, but that's too far away. I don't have enough iron frames yet. So temporarily, and this is going to be temporary, I'm going to put the first one here or something, or maybe even here, and then start to put them out that way. And then we'll bring them back to power. And yeah, there we go. That's my recipe done for some more copper. It went out of mind. So let's get that sorted. Turn you off. Oh, the silence. I got some more batteries, by the way. I did get some feedback. Yeah, there is some in the portable air conditioner and the portable scrubber and a couple of other places. Enough to get me a few small cells up and charging during the daytime. So let's go and get that other stuff sorted, and we'll come back to just finish off the very basic version of solar tracking. We don't need anything complex at this stage of the game. I think I actually want to see if I can fit it in the side here, rather than put it on top or on a big tower. I don't want to obstruct the view too much. So I think I'll just run a cable. I'll just run a cable here. Let me turn my light on just so you can see. I run a cable here. This is the data network side. I had to rotate this 90 degrees just because of the way my world is oriented, but that will work fine as far as this is concerned. And then I think I'll just turn my lights back off again, and we'll just run some more here, and we'll see whether I need power to any of these just by me getting it wrong repeatedly. No, yes. All right, and we'll keep running this along here, I think. Nothing too special, and probably need to go with a junction, something like that. And then we can do the first thing, which is just to get a memory unit somewhere. Let's just put you in, rotate you that way. It doesn't really much matter which way you rotate this. So this definitely doesn't need any kind of power. And do I need my screwdriver? So what are we going to set this to? We're going to set the... Oh, nope. We're going to use the small units for this. Decrease, no, increase. I want, let's see, we're going to divide the... We're going to get 100 out of 180, so divide by 1.8. And that will do. So let's just change this to 1, and then hold in Alt, and then you can go to the decimal points. So you get to 1.8 just fine. So we'll use that. And then hopefully, I have been told that the logic units are a bit iffy at the moment, but hopefully we will get something in here. So we've got math, unary, min, max, select, compare, etc. Math should be just fine, but of course we need to look at where we get power from. So let's just drop that for a second. And then we want our readers and writers. And again, we need to look where we're going to get power from, because they're going to come from over on the left-hand side. And then we want data to be dealt with as well. So let me just rearrange to find something sort of suitable for this setup, and we'll come right back. Okay, so it's night time, but I just thought I'd run down the battery and for no apparent reason in my head torch, and yeah, get everything going. So let's put this away. So I've hopefully this is clear now that everything in blue is data. The red line is power. These two don't need any connection on this side, so there is a more efficient way to just pack cable all this up. But this just means I can fit it on this row, and it's quite nice there everywhere. So everything else is connected up for the data side of things. So let's take a look. Is this set to 1.8? It is. Good. So we need to set a few things up. Let's set this to read something. So no device. Let's set it to read the daylight sensor. I could get the labeler out and do something like that. We want to read the solar angle. And that is good. That's just going to read that. That's fine. Let's start off with that and then divide. Well, that's a batch writer. We're going to be writing the input is going to be the math unit, and the setting, let's take a look. It's going to be the solar panels, and we will set their, well, is it going to be horizontal? Is it going to be vertical? Let's take a look. What are the options? Yeah, we'll have to see. If you get it wrong, it should be easy to change. Let's turn all these on now. So you are reading 12. Oh, it's already started to change. And that is going the wrong way. So I may have to turn that around. That's not a problem though. And batch writer. So we're writing to solar panels. We're writing to the vertical. The input for this is going to be the logic reader. We've only got one on the network, so that's going to be straightforward. And we're going to... in fact, is it going to be the logic reader? Yeah, we're going to divide by the memory unit, and this should get us an angle. And then we can set the writer as the input logic math. So now you are set to 1, and it's coming up. So let's just actually spin this around. Can we spin this around? Just go to -90. Okay, and technically I think that's it working. Let's take a look at what this batch writer is saying. So yeah, 2, 3. Now this setup is one of the simplest ways to start. Let's turn the light off. But it is not accurate, essentially because this panel is not, it can't be set to 90 degrees. So it's going to miss some at the very start and the very end, i.e. sunset and sunrise. It's not going to be too good. But other than that, we have a relatively easy setup without much of a problem. And this appears to be okay. And yeah, I'll just keep an eye on it and see if that tracks correctly. I think that's all right. And then I'll go move the other solar panel over here. And then we'll run a power cable on this side from here. With you, well, I suppose we should go 4-way cable, but I'm not going to worry about it just for the moment. I'd rather have things look neat than anything else just yet, just to make them simpler to understand. And then we just run a cable out this way. And of course, we can put our power control anywhere along this line. Eventually, we're going to have a battery here, so do leave space. In the meantime, I'm probably going to put the power controller something like there, and then run this cable into the rest of our network. Okay, so here we are. I've got both solar panels up. They are correctly tracking the sun-ish, close enough anyway for this first setup. And we've got our area power control here, indicating green. Everything's full. And of course, we can actually use this as a sort of power swap for our system, rather than sticking it in the battery recharger. Although it does kind of interrupt the power to our main system. I guess we should also move this out here. Although, well, yeah, let's move it out here. Why not? Let's just grab the solid fuel generator. You don't generally need this unless you've got power problems, but it has to go on this side of things. So we're going to, that will actually do. Yeah, it's not going to interrupt the shadow. You know, we're not going to cause a shadow across the solar panels, which doesn't matter. And we can just hook it in right here if I have some. I don't think I have any cable coils left. I'm going to have to actually make lots of them. I've got 63 grams. It's like 120 of these things, so we can do that quite easily and get enough of those. That'll do for now. Clear you. And let's just rip this out. There we go. Just change that restack. There we go. So if we ever need any power as a sort of an emergency measure at night, we can just put some coal in here. And in fact, this is one way you can use just to store coal until we get that part finished. So let's just swap those over. And I'm sure I have some coal here I can just dump in there. I just want to make sure not to turn it on. It'll use up our coal, which we're going to be using for other purposes later. I think that's lead, actually. Is that lead? It's lead. Okay, that's definitely not coal. And it's just some iron. We'll drop that as well. Okay, so we've got our solar setup working-ish. What's going to happen is, and what seems to be the case, let me just turn this off. Let me just show you what I mean. Turn it off. So I don't have anything you consuming power now. The battery charge is off. This is still actually generating power. There we go. It stopped. Now, what should happen, and until we get to more advanced setup with this, is that this will slowly reverse during the night to point the other direction again. Once it goes past the horizon, I think, if I remember correctly. So let's look at the values. So 93, you see it's going down again. So those are slowly going to turn over. But what you can see from this is this would be flashing if we're showing a draining power. So it seems like these panels, let me just turn the light on, these panels don't seem to consume power, but to turn themselves back over again. Or I guess that this minute amount of power, am I getting that from me shining light onto them? No, they are still generating power from that tiny amount. It doesn't seem to be... Oh, no, wait, there it is. I was going to say it doesn't seem to cost energy to actually turn these over, which would be kind of nice if that were the case. However, yeah, it does seem to consume power. So our more advanced setup does make that a bit more efficient, but we'll get to that much later on. All that we basically do is when it goes past the horizon, we flip them over immediately, and there's no more power drain. They're just waiting for sunrise. But it will do for now. It doesn't consume much power at all, I don't think. So, you know, we'll just leave that alone. So next thing we should probably look at is getting a furnace set up. And I know I have a furnace. For those new to the series, I know this is a furnace, but it's not the furnace we want. We want the one that makes steel, and that will require a few bits and pieces. Let's just see if the recipe is in here. I can never remember where it is. Arc furnace, no. Regular furnace, what do you cost? Iron and copper, and what do I have? I don't have enough iron. Even in my mining belt, I've only got about 11, so I need to go mining. On my iron belt, in my belt, it's in there. I guess we can burn that up anyway. But we need 30 of it and 10 copper, and we've got enough copper in the top, so we can always just turn that on and, you know, pull the handle, and out the copper pops. I need to turn the light on because you can't see anything. But there you go. You can just put copper into the bottom machine, and we should be over there. And then I just need to go mining. And obviously I'm going to wait for the sun to come up a little bit. How far off are we? Like 3 or 4? 3. Okay. But we are going to need more iron anyway. I would recommend picking up... Well, you're going to need some oxides. You're going to need some volatile. You need some iron. And you're going to need some coal. You don't need very much of volatile and oxides. I think it's 2 to 1. 2 volatiles to 1 oxide and 3 to 1 iron to coal. Yeah, we'll see. Otherwise I'll get a pile of slag coming out of the bottom instead of steel. That's what we're going to do next. We're going to make some steel. Okay, so it's night time. I've been at mining. Got 39 iron here and 13 coal, 3 to 1. Let's see how good my memory is, and if all of you are thinking that it's a different value, you're going to be able to point and laugh shortly. Because I haven't even checked the you can check the tablet. It's in your backpack. In fact, is there anything? No, there's not even any cartridge in by default. Actually, I should put a cartridge in. In fact, let's just check what the atmosphere is like. That's a good thing. I'm not going to look at the Wikipedia equivalent to Stationepedia, whatever it is in game. E-reader, that's the one we want for that. I just want to see what the atmosphere is like, whether that's been updated since I last played. Let's put you in, and excuse me. So CO2 95%, so we get free CO2 and essentially free N2 if we can pull stuff out of the atmosphere. It's at minus 60 degrees and a tiny amount of oxygen, which is interesting. A very small amount of oxygen though. In terms of moles, it's 0.1 mole. And then X, you know, other, essentially. So, yeah, that will do fine for now. Let's put that back in my pack. And is my furnace done? Let me just put the lights on. Yes, it is. Okay, we're going to put this way over here just in case of any issues. Yes, that's always a good sign. And that will do just fine. Input and output, obviously, that's the output at the top. If we were in a vacuum, I could just passively vent that. We're not. We don't need to start, I don't think, with an actual vent on the outside. Yeah, I've played in the moon before, and all you need to do in a moon is to get rid of everything. You just undo that. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. 1 second. Yes, so all you need is to undo a vent to vacuum. But we're not in a vacuum. We're in 2 kPa, kilopascals, and at minus 60. So when we set up more complicated setups, we'll need to keep that in mind. We'll need pumps to fully empty stuff like this. There's nothing in there at the moment. So I guess we should start by putting something in there, shouldn't we? And let's just try this out. So am I right? Let's just see. So we're going to split 2 off. Let's pick 2 of you up. Put you in the top, 2 volatiles. And let's put you back and swap you with oxides, which I am also then going to split 1 off. I don't need any more. Hopefully. We'll see. 1 oxide. Let's pop you in there. Are you going to let me put it in there? Yep. And let me just bulk you back together. Let's put the iron in. And here's where I get a mountain of slag. Put the coal in. Yeah, come on, coal. And yeah, temperature is 273 Kelvin. That is 0. That seems a little, yeah, that seems a little odd. But we've got iron and hydrocarbons. Go. Will you heat it up enough? We'll produce 52 grams of ingot steel. Open mold. Steel! 52 grams of it. Okay, so obviously what was it now? 39 plus 13, so 49. Yeah, so we don't lose any in that conversion. It's just the same weight, which is a good thing to know. And of course, now we've got our really hot furnace on Mars. Now, if I had a vent on the back here, if it was just a passive vent, it would immediately flame out the back, and you don't want to be standing anywhere near it. You can, however, just leave it alone. It'll cool down by itself. It's at now 4,000 kilopascals, and its temperature is 1700 K. So that's much. It is weird that that doesn't start at minus 60, which would be like what, 213 Kelvin. But yeah, apparently the contents is just fine. Yes, so we've got steel. Why did I want steel? Because I want a battery. Is the battery on this? Let's just see if you are in here. The kit battery is somewhere. Let's just see if I can select the. Oops. There is a bug, by the way, with this. Until you actually select something, when you go down to the recipe here that you can choose in the drop down, it shows the other station's recipes. So if you're getting that issue, just select something, choose OK, but don't actually build it. Then you can actually change this just fine. I should be able to see you in here. Or is the battery? I don't think the battery's from the fabricator. Let's just double check you again. Cartridges, no. Circuit boards. This looks more like it. Battery cell, no. Kit battery, there we go. What do you need? You need gold, copper, and steel. You have iron and copper, so let's open you. Grab the copper. Drop you in there. Get the steel. Drop you in there. And print. And make sure I go to next. Okay, so already, as you might be able to imagine, I want to get rid of this. This is okay, but it's more for isolating networks. And even so, with a tiny bit of battery inside, you know, just in case you've got some kind of backup. I don't want that. I really want a battery setup. Now, we don't have the fabricator for a transformer yet. I don't think we can build... Ooh, the battery's already done. I don't think we can build a transformer just yet. However, we should be able to build a battery just fine. I will need to interrupt this this sort of setup again, but that shouldn't be much of a problem. Sunrise will come up fairly soon. Let's take out this. In fact, let me just switch over my belts and put that one away for now. Where are we? Nope, I want you. Ah, there goes my coal. No problem anyway. And we can just remove this as well, I think. Let's just change to this. Take this battery cell out, I guess. Yeah, maybe we'd better wait a little bit. Or in fact, we could put it up or further down the line. We could put a battery here. Our transformer would only go on this side, so we on this side will probably need the thicker cable at some point, so we should be able to put it here, and the rest of the network will pull just fine from that, so we're safe to cut this line. Do bear in mind though, batteries are not regulated. They have no protection on them whatsoever, which means if you have stuff in your network that requires lots of power, it can pull more power than this cable can handle, and poof, parts of your cable will start frying at random. You can make fuses, and that'll certainly get rid of the problem. But what you may want to do is actually make make a transformer on the output side of your battery, and on the input side use appropriate cabling, because it can take sort of any level of input, but your cable is the limiting factor. So you want the thicker cable, which we've not got to yet. Don't worry, we will. Where's my battery gone? Solid generator battery. And okay, I want to make sure I've got the input side correct. Yep, that is the input side. So for now, I need to make sure there's one space, and that will do. We can put a thing there and a thing here, and remember to hit the on switch. That's my usual problem. Oops, let's put that away. On switch. And the battery is going to start charging. Now, it doesn't really have much in the way of any power yet, but it is about to come light, so that will start charging up. It's a shame about that noise. Battery should really not make a humming noise. I'm sorry. If it was a transformer, I could understand. Battery, not so much. At least not a battery you want to stay anywhere near to. So we now have this, and technically we don't really need this anymore. It sort of helps when we've got more stuff in the network, but for now, I think we should be able to just replace it once this battery has got a little bit of charge. So we'll wait for that to build up. It will, of course, start charging this up, I think, and then the rest of the network will work as you might expect. So let's just put you away and turn off these machines. Let's just reduce our power requirement just to give it a chance. You'll see now this is charging up. It should charge up this battery. Then we'll remove this all out of the way, and then we'll have, hopefully, a battery-powered, automated solar cell in episode 2, which is just what we want. I think episode 3, we're going to have probably gas capture chamber. It'll be quite good, because we can do a few things. One is we can pump the atmosphere in from the outside, somehow. Airlocks is how I did it in my mini survival series. That is one way of getting the atmosphere in, but not the best way. But also the other thing is, just as I was doing that, those oxides and those volatiles at night, well, the same things are true really, that if we don't want stuff to sublimate off or to melt in the case of ice, we want a room to actually put it in. Now, on the moon, if you're on the moon, you can just put a vent down onto the floor, an active vent, and put it into a canister, drop your ore on top, or stand on top of it, and it will pull all of the gas in. Unfortunately, on Mars, we have this problem. We actually already have gas here, so unless you don't mind the tank being polluted by Mars's atmosphere, unless you don't care about CO2 and N2 and stuff like that, unless you don't mind that, then you're going to want a chamber that you can evacuate down to vacuum and just do it that way. Or indeed, you can use furnaces like this to do it. So if you put ores in the top there and then pipe that into a system, it will happily capture the gases you get. And you can capture gases from burning stuff, or indeed, you can just put stuff in your arc furnace when you're making regular stuff like iron and copper. And this arc furnace just gives off gas into the atmosphere around it. So if you put your arc furnace into a room like that, you can then capture all extra gas and not waste it to the atmosphere, which is good. So I think we'll do that next episode. Are you charging yet? What happens if I take you out? Are you going to be okay? It looks like these are all fine. And of course, the only thing they're getting is power from this battery now. So it should be charging up, hopefully. And then we can let's just put this other battery away for now, and our power panel. So let the power panel? Tablet. That's what I meant to say. So now if I just remove you, not close the cover, I want to actually remove this now. Yeah, and if I put you back in, that's pretty much that sorted. I need to reroute this cable and make it a little bit neater, but do let me know what you think about keeping this data separate on separate networks like this. Maybe not always be able to do it, but you know, sometimes we can simplify a little bit by using these power controllers, or indeed transformers. We can keep things on sub-networks. And what I don't know is if they fix the problem where airlocks go mental when you disconnect cables from them. So yeah, I would like to know about that one. So yeah, do let me know in the comments on that front. Are you going to charge? Let's see. There we go, it has just stopped flashing, which means it is actually steadily charging. It just isn't charging very fast because we only have 2 solar panels. And of course that thing is much, much larger in terms of power storage than our little tiny battery. So yeah, I can though go and do a bit more mining, fill out a few more solar panels, and that'll give us lots of power to have utility during the night and let us light this place up. So I think that's pretty much it. We're coming up to about half an hour, which I don't want to go too long for each episode. This has been quite self-contained. Next episode, probably our first gas setup for capture. And do let me know what you think. So feel free to like, subscribe, share as normal, and we'll see you, of course, next time. As always, guys, thanks for watching.